Okay, this is part 2. I'm going to take that exact same program that we wrote in part 1 and break it into functions. So each part is going to be broken into tinier pieces. So for example, I'm going to say get the decimal number, and then I'm going to say convert it to a binary number, display the results, and ask if I want to do it again. So there's my entire program. That's what it's going to look like inside of this do-while loop instead of what I had before. So get a number is going to be real simple. It's this code right here. It's going to be my get a number. So I'm going to copy this code. Maybe even take it out of here. And I'm going to prototype this function get a number. So it's going to be a integer returning function. Or it's called get decimal number, D-E-C-N-U-M-B-E-R. And it's going to have no parameters. So what that's going to look like down here is something like this. I'm going to immediately comment up. And here's the code that I had from up above. So I will still start by clearing the screen. And I'll just pull this over and then we'll talk about it. If you watch the Dr. Archibald videos, the first thing he tells you to do in any value returning function is create a variable called result. Last thing you do in any value returning function is return that variable result. And since I'm using result, I don't need this anymore. And I'm done. So there it is. That's how I get the value. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. So get decimal number is done. The next thing I'm going to do is convert to binary. So this is my conversion to binary part right here, all of this. So it's called convert to binary. I'm not sure what this is going to look like, but let's take a look. Convert to binary. It's going to return back the e size, which is an integer, and it's going to need the array. It's going to need the binary number, or the decimal number. And anytime I have a parameter, I have to give it the data type. So that's what it looks like. I want to copy this down. And by the way, I keep my functions in alphabetical order because this list of functions is going to grow. So this guy goes right here. Immediately, I say this is a int function. And I think I screwed that up here. I did. Get rid of that equal sign. Okay, it's nice that you copy because then you can look at it a second time. And now, oops, what did I do? Okay, I need to do this, and now the code that goes in here, let me follow Archibald's rules. By the way, the result, if you paid attention, is actually my effective size. So here's the code to do this. Let's just steal it out of here. Boom. Bring it down, drop it in. Done. Because this is being passed by value, I'm not going to need this temporary number. I could chop it as much as I want. So I don't need e size because that's what result is. And result is going to start at 0, so I need to set that equal to 0. Just like we did up in main. And since this isn't a function, I don't need that comment anymore. So now I'm going to loop like this. And I'm going to put into the array, which for whatever reason I call it array now. Same thing as up there. A-R-R-A-Y. And this is now result, not e size, which is result. And this is no longer temp because it's not needed, it's decimal number. And this is result. and this is decimal number. And I believe that's it. I'm done. I'm done. Let's take a look at it. Tighten up a little bit. So I come in, I put result equal to 0. I do the integer division, or I do the modulus division. I store the result at that location. I increment every time I put something in. I divide, I keep going, and I'm done. So that's the end of that one. Back up into main. So those two are done. Although they're not done because this is returning the decimal number. My bad. And it is passing nothing. I'm looking up here now. And the convert is returning the E size. And it is passing the array. Up here it's not called array, it's called bin number. And it's passing the decimal number. This is an alignment. When I say alignment, this aligns with this. This aligns with this. Value returning function returning an integer. Value returning function returning an integer, sticking in an integer variable. To display the results, so to display the results, this is just a display, so I'm not going to return anything. I need to pass down the array. I need to pass down the decimal number and the E size because I need that in the output function. Down here in main, I'm going to make this a line. So this is going to be the array. This is the decimal number. And this is the E size. And now up here, I'll just copy this down, like so. Drop it in. I think it goes right here. Put my braces. Put my comma. Because I need this because I'm going to have lots of functions in this class. So here's where I did the output. This is all the output right here. I'm going to bring this down. Drop it in. Don't need that comment anymore. So the first thing I do is I print the decimal number. And I happen to call it DEC number, not decimal number. Let's go up there and make sure that's what I did up here. DEC number. This is called DEC number. And this doesn't really matter. That can be called anything. So that looks good. And this looks good. Okay, back to good. So there's my E size. There's my E size. I'm done my print. This is called bin number. Is that what I called it in here? Bin number. So I happen to pass it right there, but I didn't pass it right here, bin number. So now I'm back in alignment. And it doesn't matter what I call it up here, so I'll leave that alone. Okay, so that looks good. That looks good. I'm pausing outside of the loop. Good. Now, back up into main. So the only thing that's left is this again thing. So again is going to return a capital Y or a lowercase y. And this time I'm going to do it as a void function just to be crazy, and I want to teach you how you can do it like that. So I'm going to pass the variable again into this function. If I pass the variable again, let's just set it equal to nothing. I am actually passing this value, this blank, by passing the argument that way. If I pass the argument this way, this ampersand is pronounced the address of operator. So I'm no longer passing this blank, I'm passing the address of where that blank is in RAM. So this is passing what's called by reference. If I leave that off, it's called pass by value. By passing by reference, there is not two copies of again, one in the function, one in main. There's only one. The function points to this guy up here. All right, so having said that, let's prototype it. It's going to be void, even though it's going to return a value. It's going to return a value through the parameter. And this time it's a char and again, but because I'm passing the address, oops, where'd it go? Right here, because I'm passing the address, I have to point to that address, and that is the asterisk. So you pass with the ampersand, you catch with the asterisk. This says the value being pointed to by the address of again. All right, so let's write that guy, and then we're ready to test it. Oops, so I'm going to copy this. And a mustache, try. I think I have them all over here, so I'll line them up so I'm consistent. All right, so the code inside of this again is this little bit right here, all of that. So here I am back in main before I leave and go write that function and see if I accomplished my goal, if this works. I think I did. I took all the code except for that do-while loop, and I put it into functions. All right, so now I'm going to finish this again. Copy what I pasted. Or paste what I copied. I'm going to ask the question, scan, and then I'm going to convert to uppercase. All right, take a look at this. We know that without the asterisk, this is the address. With the asterisk, this is the value. So I pass the address, and if I catch it without the pointer, that is the address. This is pointing to that address. And this is the beginning of Pointer 101, and this whole class is about pointers. So here's the prompt. Would you like to convert another number, yes or no? And here's a typical scanf where we're scanning in a character, and it's the address of again. Well, if you leave the asterisk off, this is an address. So putting the ampersand there is actually wrong because that would be an address of an address, and that doesn't make sense. Wow, that's pretty complex there. It's not really, but that is the beginning of Pointer 101. So because this is an address, a hexadecimal number, this is a value. I don't want to uppercase a hexadecimal number. I want to uppercase the value, so I have to say pointing at. I don't want to store this into the address. That would screw things up. I want to store this in as the value, and now I'm done. I'm going to test this program. Hopefully I don't have any errors. Hopefully I don't. Okay, so I had a few issues. I had my, again, prototype in here inside of main. I wasn't paying attention. And my naming convention was off. So I changed it to ask again, not a big deal. It could have been called the same thing, ask again. And then finally, the last thing I did is I had my display binary. I had it called results in one place and binary in the other, so I just aligned that up. So those are my errors. I'm going to run it and test it. It should work. So ask me for the number. There it is. Convert it. Want to do it again? Yes. Yes. No? Okay, I'm going to summarize because I'm at 13 minutes longer than I wanted. Say I took a simple program, I took a program that worked, and I took it and started breaking it into chunks, converted into functions. I introduced my very first pass by reference using a pointer. I did some other things, but I don't want to talk anymore, so I'm going to post this, and that's it. Thank you. Enjoy.